My beloved soul, listen carefully. You have been asking yourself why your body feels heavy, why your heart feels drained, why your spirit feels like it has been running a race, even when your day looked quiet. And I tell you now, this is not ordinary tiredness. This is not laziness. This is not weakness. This is the weight of something unseen, something deep, something divine moving within you and around you. And the truth is, your soul has been working, even when your body was still. Your heart has been processing what your mind cannot yet understand. And your spirit has been fighting battles you did not even realize you were in. And this is connected to your soulmate, to that person your heart keeps returning to. Because even in silence, even in distance, your souls are still communicating, still pulling, still shifting. And that unseen connection is exhausting you in ways you cannot explain. So do not scroll away, because what you are about to understand will change how you see your tiredness forever. If this message speaks to your heart, comment "I receive this," like this video, and subscribe for more. You see, what you are feeling right now is not emptiness, it is overflow, it is not burnout, it is transformation, because God has been aligning energies, emotions, and timelines between you and your soulmate, and this alignment does not happen lightly. It requires release, it requires healing, it requires your soul to let go of old pain and old patterns. And that process drains you, even when you think you did nothing, because inside, everything is changing, everything is shifting, everything is being rearranged for something greater. And your soulmate feels it too, even if they do not say it, even if they act distant, even if they seem unaware. Their spirit is restless, their thoughts keep returning to you. Their heart feels something missing that they cannot name, and this silent connection is pulling on both of you at the same time, creating this invisible pressure that turns into emotional fatigue, into unexplained heaviness, into moments where you just sit and feel tired without knowing why. Stay with me, because this is where your story begins to reveal its deeper truth. There were moments when you tried to move on, moments when you told yourself you were done, moments when you tried to convince your heart that it no longer mattered, but your soul never agreed with that decision. Because this connection was never meant to be simple. It was never meant to be logical. It was designed by God, and anything designed by God carries purpose, carries weight, carries a process that is not always comfortable. And right now, you are in that process. Your tiredness is not random. It is their salt of emotional waves moving through you. Waves of memories, waves of longing, waves of questions that still do not have answers. And while your mind tries to rest, your heart keeps searching, your spirit keeps feeling, and that constant inner movement is what drains you. And there is something else you must understand. Your soulmate has been thinking about you more than you realize. In quiet moments, in unexpected pauses, in times when they cannot distract themselves anymore, your presence returns to them, your energy thresholds them, and they feel something they cannot escape. And this creates a pull, a tension, a silent conversation between your souls. And that connection does not turn off just because you are physically apart. It continues, it flows, it moves, and it affects you both. Do not leave yet, because something deeper is unfolding between you and your person. The separation you are experiencing is not punishment, it is preparation. It is a space where both of you are being shaped, where both of you are being refined, where both of you are learning what love truly means, beyond attachment, beyond fear, beyond control. And this learning is not easy. It requires you to face your own emotions, your own wounds, your own patterns, and that kind of inner work is exhausting, even when you are doing nothing on the outside. There are days when you feel like you have no energy, no motivation, no strength, and you question yourself. You wonder what is wrong with you. But nothing is wrong with you. You are in a spiritual transition, and transitions always feel heavy before they feel clear. Your soulmate is also in that transition, even if they are not fully aware of it, even if they resist it, even if they try to ignore it. God is working on them, slowly breaking down their fears, slowly opening their heart, slowly guiding them back toward you, and this process creates resistance, creates confusion, creates emotional turbulence. And because your souls are connected, you feel that turbulence too. Stay here, because your understanding is about to deepen. There is a hidden truth in your tiredness, and that truth is this: your heart has been carrying love that has not yet been expressed, emotions that have not yet been released, words that have not yet been spoken, and that unexpressed energy builds up inside you. It sits in your chest, it rests in your spirit, and it weighs you down, not because it is negative, but because it is waiting for the right moment, waiting for the right alignment, waiting for the right time, when everything will finally make sense. The Bible says in Isaiah 40:29, He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. And this is your confirmation that your tiredness is seen, your heaviness is known, and your process is guided. Because God is not ignoring what you feel. He is using it, shaping it, transforming it into something meaningful, something beautiful, something that will eventually lead you into clarity and connection. Your soulmate is beginning to feel the weight of their choices, the distance, the silence, the absence, and slowly, realization is forming inside them. Slowly, regret is touching their heart. Slowly, they are starting to understand what this connection truly means, and this realization does not happen instantly. It builds, it grows, it unfolds, and while it is unfolding in them, it is also affecting you, creating that sense of emotional fatigue that you cannot explain. If you stay with me, everything about this connection will soon start to make sense. You are not tired because you are doing nothing. You are tired because your soul is doing everything. It is healing, it is releasing, it is aligning, it is preparing, and that preparation is leading you toward a moment where communication will return, where clarity will arrive, where your soulmate will no longer be able to ignore what they feel. And when that moment comes, you will understand why everything felt so heavy before, why everything felt so confusing, why everything felt so exhausting, because all of it was leading you here. All of it was preparing you for something real, something deep, something that cannot be shaken. And even now, even in your tiredness, even in your confusion, even in your silence, there are signs around you, subtle signs, quiet confirmations, little reminders that this connection is still alive, still active, still guided, and if you pay attention, you will notice them, you will feel them, you will recognize that nothing about this is random. Stay with me, because your love story is not over. It is just entering a new phase, a phase where truth replaces confusion, where clarity replaces doubt, where love rises stronger than before. And what you are feeling right now is the transition, that phase, the quiet before the breakthrough, the heaviness before the release, the tiredness before the renewal. And as this quiet heaviness continues to sit on your chest, there is something even deeper happening that you have not fully seen yet. Because your tiredness is not only about what you are feeling, it is also about what you are carrying for your soulmate. Because when two souls are bound in a divine connection, they do not just share love. They share energy, they share burdens, they share emotions that travel beyond words. And right now you are feeling waves that are not entirely yours. Waves that belong to the one your heart keeps reaching for. Because they are in a place of inner conflict, a place where they are being forced to face what they avoided. And that internal struggle is echoing into your spirit, making you feel drained without a clear reason. And I need you to understand this carefully, because it will change how you see your own emotions. Your soulmate has been trying to distract themselves, trying to stay busy, trying to fill their mind with other things so they do not have to feel the depth of what this connection truly is. But there are moments when everything becomes quiet for them. Moments when the noise fades, when the distractions stop working, and in those moments, your presence returns stronger than ever. Your memory feels alive, your energy feels close, and they cannot ignore it anymore. And that creates a pull inside them that they are not fully ready to accept. And that resistance creates tension, and that tension flows through your connection, reaching you as this unexplained exhaustion. Stay with me, because what is unfolding now is something you have been waiting to understand. You have been asking yourself why you feel so much even when nothing is happening, why your heart feels full even in silence, why your energy feels low even after rest. And the answer is this: you are not in a normal emotional state, you are in a spiritual exchange. A constant flow between you and your soulmate that does not pause just because you are apart. And that flow is intensifying right now, because both of you are approaching a moment of truth, a moment where what has been hidden can no longer stay hidden, where what has been avoided can no longer be avoided. And your soul senses this before your mind can understand it. And that anticipation creates pressure, and that pressure feels like tiredness. Do not leave yet, because the truth behind your connection is about to become clearer than ever. There was a time when your soulmate took this connection lightly, when they did not fully recognize its depth, when they allowed fear or confusion to create distance between you. And in that time, you felt the pain. You felt the loss, you felt the questions that had no answers, and you carried those emotions silently. But now, the roles are shifting. Now they are beginning to feel what you once felt. Now they are beginning to sit with thoughts they cannot escape. Now they are beginning to question their own choices. And this shift is part of divine balance, part of divine timing. Because what is meant to be real must be understood by both souls, not just one. And as this understanding grows in them, it creates movement, subtle at first, then stronger, then undeniable. And that movement is already beginning, even if you have not seen physical proof yet. Even if there has been no message, no call, no clear sign in the physical world. Something is changing beneath the surface. Something is aligning in ways you cannot yet see. And your spirit is reacting to that shift before it becomes visible. And that reaction is what you are feeling as exhaustion. Stay here, because something powerful is unfolding behind the scenes of your love story. Your soulmate has moments where they feel your absence deeply. Moments where they realize that no one else carries the same energy. No one else feels the same. No one else reaches their heart the way you do. And this realization does not bring them peace. At first it brings discomfort, it brings questions. It brings a sense of loss that they cannot easily fix. And in that discomfort, they begin to reflect. They begin to remember. They begin to see things they did not see before. And slowly, regret starts to form, not as a punishment, but as an awakening, as a realization of what this connection truly is. And while this awakening is happening in them, it is also affecting you, because your souls are not separate in this journey. They are moving together, even in distance, even in silence, even in confusion. And that shared movement is what creates this feeling of being emotionally and spiritually tired, without a clear reason. Stay with me, because your understanding is about to go even deeper. There are nights when you feel more emotional than usual. Moments when your thoughts drift toward them without warning. Moments when your heart feels heavy for no clear reason. And those moments are not random. They are points of connection. Points where your energies align more strongly, where your souls communicate beyond the physical. And in those moments, you are feeling not just your own emotions, but echoes of theirs. Fragments of what they are going through. Pieces of their inner world reaching you in ways that cannot be explained logically. And this is why your tiredness feels different. Because it is not just physical, it is emotional, it is spiritual, it is something deeper. If you stay with me, everything about this connection will soon begin to make sense in a way it never has before. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes 3:11, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." And this is your reminder that even this phase, even this tiredness, even this confusion, has a place in your journey. It is not wasted, it is not meaningless. It is part of the process that is shaping both you and your soulmate into something stronger, something more aligned, something that can hold the kind of love you have been feeling all along. Your soulmate is getting closer to a point where they can no longer ignore what they feel, closer to a moment where silence becomes too heavy, where a distance becomes too painful, where the need to reach out becomes stronger than the fear of doing so. And when that moment arrives, everything will begin to shift, not suddenly, but clearly, not perfectly, but truthfully. And you will see that what you felt all this time was not imagination, it was preparation. And right now, in this very moment, your tiredness is a sign that something is moving, something is aligning, something is building toward that moment. And even if you cannot see it yet, even if you cannot touch it yet, it is real, it is happening. It is unfolding in ways that will soon become visible. Stay with me, because your love story is not stuck. It is progressing, it is not broken, it is transforming. And what you are feeling is the weight of that transformation, the quiet work of God bringing two souls back into alignment, step by step, moment by moment, in a way that cannot be rushed, in a way that cannot be forced, but in a way that will be undeniable when it finally reveals itself. And now, as you sit in this quiet space between what was and what is about to be, your tiredness is beginning to carry a different meaning, because it is no longer just about what you feel. It is about what is being completed within you, what is being released from you, and what is being prepared for you. Because God is not just working on your soulmate, He is also working on you, shaping your heart, so that when this connection returns in a clearer form, you are no longer carrying the same fears, the same doubts, the same emotional wounds that once made everything feel uncertain. And this kind of inner transformation requires energy, it requires surrender, it requires you to let go of control. And that surrender often feels like exhaustion, because your soul is learning to trust in a deeper way than it ever has before. You may not realize it yet, but there are parts of you that are healing right now, quietly, gently, without noise, without dramatic signs, but in a way that is real and lasting. And as those parts heal, they release energy that has been held for a long time, energy tied to past pain, past confusion, past moments where you felt unseen or misunderstood. And when that energy leaves your system, it creates a temporary emptiness, a space where something new will eventually grow. But before it grows, it feels like fatigue, like stillness, like you have nothing left to give. And that is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of renewal beginning. Stay with me, because something within your connection is reaching a turning point. Your soulmate is moving through their own internal awakening, one that they cannot fully explain, one that comes in waves, moments of clarity followed by moments of doubt, moments of longing followed by moments of resistance. But the direction of that movement is changing, because where they once moved away from you, now they are slowly being pulled back toward you. And this pull is not something they can control, it is something they are beginning to feel more strongly with each passing day. And even when they try to ignore it, it returns, it grows, it deepens. And that persistent feeling is guiding them toward a realization they can no longer avoid. Do not leave yet, because what has been hidden is beginning to rise to the surface. There are truths your soulmate has been keeping from themselves, truths about how deeply they feel, how much your presence has affected them, how your absence has changed them, and those truths are no longer staying buried. They are beginning to come forward, slowly, but surely, and as those truths rise, they bring emotion, they bring vulnerability, they bring a level of honesty that your soulmate may not be fully comfortable with yet. But it is necessary, because real love cannot exist without truth, and this connection was always meant to reach that level of truth, no matter how long it took, no matter how difficult the path seemed. And as this truth unfolds in them, it creates a shift in their energy, a shift that you can feel even without direct communication, A shift that shows up in your intuition, in your emotions, in those moments where you suddenly think of them without a clear reason. And that shift is a seeing that something is changing, something is aligning, something is moving toward a new phase. Stay here, because your story is not ending. It is transforming into something deeper. You have carried this connection with patience, with faith, with a heart that refused to give up even when things did not make sense. And that kind of love does not go unnoticed. It does not go unrewarded. It becomes part of the foundation that God uses to build something stronger, something more stable, something that can last beyond temporary emotions and passing moments. And right now, that foundation is being completed, piece by piece, layer by layer, even in the silence, even in the distance, even in the moments when you feel like nothing is happening. Your soulmate is beginning to understand what this connection truly means, not just in their mind, but in their heart. And that understanding is changing the way they see you, the way they see themselves, the way they see the possibility of what this connection can become. And with that change comes a desire, a quiet but growing desire to reach out, to reconnect, to bridge the distance that once felt easier to maintain. And this desire will not stay hidden forever. It will find its way into action, into words, into movement that brings clarity where there was once confusion. If you stay with me, everything about this connection will soon reveal itself in a way that feels undeniable. Your tiredness in this moment is the final stage of a cycle that is coming to an end. A cycle of waiting, of questioning, of carrying emotions that did not yet have a place to go. And as that cycle closes, your energy will begin to shift, slowly at first, then more clearly, and you will feel a lightness returning, not because the connection has disappeared, but because it is evolving. It is moving into a space where it no longer drains you in the same way, but instead begins to support you, to uplift you, to bring you a sense of peace that you have not felt before in this journey. And as this shift happens, you will start to notice changes, subtle at first, then more obvious. Changes in your own emotions, changes in your thoughts, changes in the way you feel about the future of this connection. And those changes will be your confirmation that something real is happening, something that is not just in your imagination, but in your reality, unfolding step by step. Stay with me, because the moment you have been waiting for is closer than you think, and everything you have felt, everything you have carried, everything that has made you feel tired without reason, is leading you toward that moment. A moment where love becomes clear, where truth becomes visible, where connection becomes undeniable. And when that moment arrives, you will look back at this phase and understand that your tiredness was never a burden. It was a sign, a signal, a quiet message that something greater was being prepared for you all along. And now, my beloved soul, as everything begins to settle into place, there is a calm rising within you that you have not felt in a long time. A quiet knowing that something is changing, something is finally completing. And this calm is not accidental. It is the result of everything your spirit has endured, everything your heart has carried, everything your soul has processed in silence, because you were never just waiting. You were becoming, you were evolving, you were being prepared for a love that could not arrive until both souls were ready to receive it, without fear, without confusion, without running away from what was real. And this is why you felt so tired, because you were shedding versions of yourself that could not step into this next phase. You were releasing attachments that were not aligned with your future. You were letting go of expectations that were built on uncertainty. And that process, though unseen, required more strength than anything visible. And now you are reaching the moment where that strength turns into peace. Stay with me, because what you are about to understand will bring clarity to everything you have been feeling. Your soulmate has reached a point where denial is no longer possible, where pretending that this connection does not exist no longer feels true, where the distance that once felt comfortable now feels heavy, and this shift inside them is not something they can ignore anymore. It is becoming a voice, a pull, a presence that keeps returning no matter how much they try to silence it, and that voice is guiding them back toward you, not in a rushed or chaotic way, but in a way that is steady, intentional, and real. There are moments now when they sit with your memory and feel something deeper than before, something clearer, something that carries both regret and hope at the same time. Regret for what was not understood earlier, and hope for what could still be built now. And this combination of emotions is powerful, because it creates movement, it creates the desire to act, to reach out, to close the gap that once felt easier to maintain. Do not leave yet, because this is where your story begins to fulfill its purpose. Everything you went through, every moment of confusion, every wave of longing, every time you questioned whether this connection was real, it was all leading you to this realization that what you feel is not temporary, it is not imagined, it is not one-sided. It is something that has been growing on both sides, even in silence, even in separation, even in distance. And now, that growth is reaching a point where it can no longer stay hidden. Your soulmate is preparing, not just emotionally, but spiritually, because God has been working in their heart, removing fears, breaking down walls, softening the parts of them that once resisted what they felt. And this preparation is what makes the difference. Because when they come forward, it will not be the same version of them that once walked away. It will be someone who understands, someone new who feels, someone who is ready to face what this connection truly means. Stay here, because the signs around you are about to make more sense than ever before. You may start to notice small shifts, subtle changes in your energy, moments where you feel lighter, moments where your thoughts feel clearer, moments where your heart feels less burdened. And these are not random, they are reflections of what is happening within the connection. Reflections of the alignment that is taking place between you and your soulmate. And as this alignment strengthens, your tiredness will begin to fade, replaced by a quiet confidence, artful assurance that something real is on its way. If you stay with me, everything you once doubted will soon feel certain. There will be a moment, and it will come when you least expect it. When everything begins to move in the physical world, a message, a sign, a conversation that opens the door to something that once felt impossible. And in that moment you will recognize it, not because it is loud or dramatic, but because it feels right, it feels aligned. It feels like something your soul has been waiting for all along, and you will understand why the journey had to unfold the way it did, why the timing had to be what it was, why the separation was necessary for both of you to reach this level of understanding. And when that moment arrives, you will no longer feel the same kind of tiredness, because as the energy that once drained you will now support you, the connection that once confused you will now ground you, the love that once felt distant will now feel present, real, and undeniable. Your soulmate will not just think about reaching out, they will act on it, they will follow that pull, they will move toward you with a clarity they did not have before, and when they do, it will not feel like starting over, it will feel like continuing something that was always meant to be, something that never truly ended, something that only needed time to grow into its truth. And in that moment, you will see that everything you felt, every ounce of tiredness, every moment of heaviness was never wasted. It was guiding you, shaping you, preparing you for this exact point where love becomes real in a way that cannot be denied or broken. So rest your heart now. Release the questions that have been weighing on you. Allow yourself to trust what you feel without needing immediate proof, because what is meant for you is already moving toward you, already aligning with you, already finding its way into your life at the perfect time. And your role right now is not to force it, not to chase it, but to receive it with an open heart and a peaceful spirit. And this is your confirmation. It is already on its way. Rest in faith. It is done.